Center for Social Innovation. I hope you already know that. And we're in this year, 2010, we herald a new phase in Gawad Kalinga we call social artistry, and we use society as our canvas and make communities more sustainable. And part of that goal of making communities more sustainable is to tap the power of social entrepreneurship. And what CSI does is it wants to develop a business ecosystem. And by that we mean a space that's forgiving enough for us to test prototypes and new business models with communities, but also demanding enough that we build global brands, Filipino but global brands. Part of what we do in CSI and part of how we want to build that culture of social entrepreneurship is to leverage on the Gawad Kalinga community platform. That's a platform of 2,000 communities. And why is that important? Because if you have 2,000 communities, if you have a community platform, your social enterprise can reach scale and can have significant impact. Hindi na po pwede na you just have one community doing your wonderful thing. You're making wonders for that community, but what we really want to do is make wonders for the entire country. Second, we want to engage the Gawad Kalinga network. We want to engage the Gawad Kalinga network. And that Gawad Kalinga network includes people from business, government, academia. There are our big brothers and sisters. People who have the experience but don't necessarily have the time or the energy to be in the community all the time. We also have a network of residents in villages from all of those 2,000 communities. But what we want to build is that middle brother and sister. We want to build that network of young social entrepreneurs, and tayo po yun. We young people have the energy and the time to go to a community and spend and get to know that community and really figure out how it could be sustainable. But at the same time, we have enough time also to learn about ROI, coming up with a marketing plan, etc., etc. So we could talk to big brothers and sisters, but at the same time, bring that down to reality and actually make it work. And thus, we structured CSI this way. We are hiring, we are looking for people who are interested to work with us, with partnerships who will handle our big brothers and sisters, with business development who will handle our team of social entrepreneurs, and with site development who will handle all those enchanted farms that Tito Tony mentioned earlier. And since we want to build business ecosystems, a business ecosystem could be one social enterprise being a part of the production chain of another. And so you have one entire ecosystem of social enterprises feeding off each other. But also we want a physical, actual ecosystem, and that's what we're calling the enchanted farm. And it starts with this area in Encanto, Angat, Bulacan. It's 14 hectares of idle land. It's just one of millions still unproductive. Like Tito Tony mentioned, there's so much land in the Philippines. Right now, there's a 2-hectare GK village there, home to 40 families. But what we want to do with the rest of the 14 hectares is to turn it into a village university, where we connect the classroom to the community. So you learn about business theory, but actually apply it and mix it with community relations and community development. And at the same time, learn new techniques in agribusiness or agriculture. Sorry, community ako. And learn about new techniques in, say, green technology, like solar power or rainwater harvesting. But at the same time, we want that area, that enchanted farm, to be a Silicon Valley for social entrepreneurship. God, I've been saying this for 7 months already. Bear with me. It's as bad for me as for you. Silicon Valley for social entrepreneurship. And what do we mean by that? Imagine the Silicon Valley with Google and Facebook, but this time with wonderful brands like Pingway and Blue Bamboo and all of those stuff. Put all the awesome social enterprises in this country in one area so that they could really interact with one another. The entire business does not have to be in Encanto at the Enchanted Farm. Only a demo or a part of that business could be there. That way we could really interact with one another. Lastly, we want that enchanted farm to be a Disneyland for social tourism, where Disneyland is a global brand for rest and recreation and entertainment. We want a new Filipino Disneyland, and our Walt Disney is Tito Tony. tayo yung mga Mickey Mouse, mga Pluto. And what we do is, instead of just promoting fun stuff, it's also meaningful stuff. So we interact, not just with the community there in Bulacan, there's also, Enchanted Farm has access to 1,500 families 30 minutes away from that area. But you could also interact with the social enterprises who have, their own advocacies, their own ways of doing things, and you get to know what lemongrass looks like, because I didn't know how that looked like before entering CSI. So, Disneyland for social tourism. And why do we say that it can be done? Because, for example, this lavender farm that we want to build in the Enchanted Farm, because it looks nice, they're doing this in Tagaytay, in Sonia's garden, so we think it could be done. Tito Tony mentioned a sunflower garden, so farm pala, imagine that. Also in Iriga, Kamsur is home to a bed and breakfast facility. Tito Tony mentioned that in the next few months, we'll be starting with the 3 units of bed and breakfast facilities. Those are part of GK villages. They look way better than my house. And they're real, and they're in Iriga, Kamsur. You could go visit there and spend the night there. Imagine having that in the farm, so instead of spending time in Marriott, or where do you spend time, you go to the farm. And we have so many other things in plan for that site. We want you to be a part of that. It's a work in progress. Tomorrow we're visiting with architect Bong Resio and 14 NUS architecture students. But the whole point really is those little boxes there on the lower right. Those boxes are 1,000 square meter plots for social entrepreneurs to put up a showcase garden, a showcase restaurant, or if you want, your entire facility there. So that's what Tito Tony means when he says industrial kitchen, goat farm, piggery, etc., etc. Very quickly, just some shots from the Enchanted Farm. Please join us one of these days there. Tomorrow we're going. On Saturday we'll be back there. Some shots, play area. There's a garden, training farm. There's that pig. But there's still so much more land, and that's what I want to end with. There's so much more land in just 14 hectares. In Bacolod, there's 60. In Butuan, there's 84. It's crazy. There's so much land. And if we could prove that it works, we'll build it in 24 other sites all over the country. Last few months alone, we were able to spend and gather 2 million pesos just for operating expenses. In short, there's so much land, but there's also so many people willing to share their money and invest. So, hindi po problema ang lupa, hindi problema ang pera. And before we move on, we just want to share this. Earlier we said there's so much land, there's so much capital, there's also so many business ideas. These ideas are already in the farm. They're just waiting for somebody to be on top of it and be a social entrepreneur. Just put it together, come up with a business plan, and earn. We will even give you help. We will even help you find startup capital. So there's tilapia if you're interested in that. There's spa and wellness, bed and breakfast, furniture like blue bamboo and woven hope, organic rice, opportunities for mushrooms. If you're into worms, that's also really cool. If you're into gardens, pigs, eggs, ducks, chickens, birds, goats, rattan, essential oils, food catering. These are just some of the things that you can already start in as a social enterprise in the farm. Just go there, put it up, we will help you, you can earn. There's kamlong there sa dulo because this afternoon I just discovered that kamlong pala is kamatis and talong. When you put it together, it has the resiliency of talong, but it's a kamatis, and so it's kamlong. And one of the agricultural state colleges that we met earlier, state universities, they have that technology to make kamlong. Wow. It's kamatis, but it's strong. So imagine having a kamlong business. That's so cool. You could actually start one already. We can tap an entire state university for you. We could find an investor for you. There's land already there for you. We just need you to step up and, let's do this. So that's for CSI. And if you have questions, please bring them up. But again, I said tonight, we're introducing a new format. Later we'll hear from